Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope.
You heard of me? Microphone's very sensitive.
Huh?
The microphone's very sensitive. Is it rude to tell people to come closer?
It's not rude to do anything. I want to let you all know that Mr. Shepherd had a bath before he came and don't like to sit closer. Be okay?
It looks crowded.
I'm going to do it before you not to be asked questions, and I don't have my hearing aid. So you need to get close to speak loud. Should I wear a towel? Huh? It's easy.
Should I start? I have no idea. What time is it? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Please join me on page 5 for Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'd like to invite up my two favorite Rivkas, Rivka Schechter and Rivka Arad, to light the Shabbos candles for us. How about all the women who want to join in? Blessing is on page 4.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you. Please be seated and join me on page 11 for Lechuna Ranana. Lechuna Ranana Ladonai Naria Letzur Yeshenu. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a great sovereign that all other deities. God's hand formed the earth's deep mountains, crests too are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hand. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us. Page 16. At the bottom in Hebrew, let's read together. Or Zarua Latzadik, Ulishire Lev Simcha, Simchu Tzadikim Badonai, Vehoder Lezecher Kocho. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, your righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Let's turn now to page 20. Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you, and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God. You were a forgiving God to them, even as you punished them for their transgressions. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lahar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Together on page 21, Mizmor leDavid, havu ladonai b'nei elim, havu ladonai kavod va'oz, havu ladonai kevod shemo, ishtachavu ladonai behadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon. Vayarkidem kemo egel Levanon vesirion, kemo venreimim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavodesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kodesh, Kol Adonai yechol elayalot. Vayechesof yarot uvehechalo, kulo omer kavod. Adonai lamabul yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Adonai was enthroned above the floodwaters. Enthroned Adonai is eternally sovereign. Adonai will grant strength to God's people. Adonai will bless them with peace. Let's go to page 23 for Lecha Dodi, a traditional melody. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'leitila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor habracha, mirosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava techila, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela, mikdash melech ir melucha, Kumitzei mitoch afecha, Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha, Vehu yachamol alayichem la, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitna ari me'afar kumi, livshei bigdei tifartecha mi, Al yad ben Yishai beit halachmi, karva el nafshi ge'ala, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela, hitoreri, kiva orech kumi ori, Uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. On the bottom of page 25, we stand and face the entrance, and together we sing. Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvtzala, toch emune am segula, bo'i kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Page 27. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot. Please be seated. Lahodot ladonai. Ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Tov lehodot. Lahodot ladonai. Ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatecha balelot. Lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatecha balelot. Let's sing responsively in English. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your name most high. To proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. You gladden me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork. The arrogant do not understand, the fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms, only to be destroyed forever. But you, Adonai, are exalted for all time. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming, Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw. Lahagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri velo avlata bo. Okay. We're going to go now to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 30. I have a list of of Yurtzites for the week of June 11th through 17th. Still observing Shloshim, Phyllis Siegel, mother of Jeff Siegel, Charlotte Pemberton, mother of Frank Pemberton and mother-in-law of Orit Elon, Jeannie Rudd, wife of Harvey Rudd, and Miriam Grossman. Yurtzites this week: Paul Bloom, Abraham Charlip, Vilwa Kale Clear, Marcine Cohen, Jake Cooper, Edward Elam, Sid Kabudi, Martin Kessler, Don Kincaid, Israel Liska, James McInnes, Dina Morchauer, Sarah Morgan, Inda Penner, Bessie Pollock, Sarah Polloway, Clara Schifrin Reich, Jacob Reback, Jaime Rybakowski, Robert Singer, Adela Solomon, and David Unrutt. Page 30 for the Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei, ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv, ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'le'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehei shloma rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. We now invite up our very own Stephen Gross to give a few words.
Over here. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff and I are going to constitute the B team tonight. Josh and I are going to constitute the B team tonight. And when I get his name down right, I'll be okay. I'll be leading services every other Friday night until Rabbi Bear comes. Welcome to come. But tonight I will only be doing a sort of Devar. Feel free, it's an interactive thing, to raise your hand, ask questions, complaints, or comments. Feel free to take a nap, whatever you'd like to do. The portion tonight is Na'aso, and it's a very interesting portion, and for the purpose of discussing Na'aso, I think it'd be helpful to give some context. We talk about reading the Torah, but in fact, traditionally, we chant the Torah with cantillation that's some 1,200 years old, that was memorialized by a group called the Masoretes. The Torah traditionally didn't have punctuation, didn't have capitalization. It had some unusual spacing that had, for instance, in the Song of the Sea, but it wasn't a book. We tend these days to think of literary matters by topic. So there's opera, there's movies, there's TV, there's nonfiction books and fiction books and books of poetry. And really the Torah is a little bit of all of them. And it's not one book. At best, it's purported to be 5 separate books. Starting in the 19th century, there was adopted what's called the documentary hypothesis, originally by Protestant anti-Semites, but adopted by most conservative and Reformed Jews these days, who believed that the Torah was originally at least 4 different books that were put together, and that they were redacted at least once or edited at least once or twice. Furthermore, when we look at a text which may have cantillation added, may have paragraphs added, and we read it in a text that clearly wasn't the original text. The archaeologists have determined that during First Temple times and before, the Jews or Israelites read what's called a form of Proto-Sinaitic or Proto-Canaanitic. The text we use now was adopted by the Jews or the Judahites during the captivity in Babylon. So we're dealing with a different set of letters, added vowels, added cantillations, and put into books that we commonly know by names that aren't Hebrew, although we do use Bimidbar and Bereshit. But the common English designation for each of these books is actually Greek. So, and the most interesting thing is the parsha like tonight. The name of each parsha often has nothing to do with the portion at all. The most common example of that is the parsha in Genesis called Hayei Sarah, which means the life of Sarah. And the very first phrase in the Hayei Sarah is, and Sarah died. So what happens in our religion is we adopt the name of the parsha by the first significant set of words or word in the portion. Sometimes it fits and sometimes it doesn't. Which leads me to Naso. Naso is the longest portion in the Torah. And it's a fascinating portion, but it's not a portion. It's at least 4 or 5 different pieces. There's a section discussing the sub-tribes of the Levites and who should do them and what their tasks are. There's a discussion of what are known as the Nazarites and their duties. The most famous Nazarite was Samson, and what they could and could not do and how they did it. There was a section at the end discussing at some length how if you want to make a sacrifice at the temple, interestingly enough, of course, there was no temple at that time. They were purportedly in the middle of the desert. How to determine what portion. And by the way, portions for males were more than portions for women. The part that I'm going to read tonight that I find most interesting is what is commonly known as Sotah. Is my Hebrew good? All right. So there are certain portions that we all know. We know the Akedah, and this is a portion that people who study regularly know. And it has to do with the dynamic of when a husband suspects a wife of adultery. Now remember, husbands didn't commit adultery, only women. That's correct. One of my rabbis once said that if a married man had sex with a unmarried woman, what did they call it? And they said another wife. So the people who were stoned were the married wife and the man who committed it with her. But the committing of adultery by a married husband did not itself consist of adultery. So the question is, what happens if you suspect a woman of committing adultery? How do you prove or disprove it? And I'm going to read a portion of Naso, and I really urge you, because the whole portion is really interesting, if you have an opportunity tonight to read it, or tomorrow afternoon when you're resting to read it. It's a fascinating portion, but this has to do with the Sotah. Speak to the Israelite people and say to them, any party whose wife has gone astray and broken faith with him. Now there's an assumption there that she has. In that another man has had carnal relations with her, unbeknown to her husband, and she keeps secret the fact that she has defiled herself without being forced, so rape doesn't count. And there is no witness against her, which means, of course, while they assume she did it, but they can't prove it. But a fit of jealousy comes over him, and he is wrought up about the wife who has defiled herself. Or if a fit of jealousy comes over him, and he is wrought up about his wife, although she has not defiled herself. So there's the presumption that it may not have occurred. That party shall bring his wife to the priest, And he shall bring as an offering for her 1/10 of an ephah, which is a portion of barley flour. No oil shall be poured upon it, and no frankincense shall be laid on it, for it is a meal offering of jealousy, a meal offering of remembrance which recalls wrongdoing. The priest shall bring her forward and have her stand before Adonai. The priest shall take sackcloth water in an earthen vessel, and taking some of the earth that is on the floor of the tabernacle, the priest shall put it into the water. After he has made the woman stand before Adonai, the priest shall bear the woman's head. The assumption, I guess, is women in those days covered their head, and place upon her hands the meal offering of remembrance, which is a meal offering of jealousy. And in the priest's hands shall be the water of bitterness that induces the spell. The priest shall adjure the woman, I have a feeling in Hebrew it wasn't adjure, saying to her, if no other party has lain with you, if you have not gone astray in defilement while living in your husband's household, be immune to harm from this water of bitterness that induces the spell. But if you've gone astray while living in your husband's household and have defiled yourself, if any party other than your husband has had carnal relations with you, here the priest shall administer the curse of adjuration to the woman, as the priest goes on to say to the woman, may God make you a curse and an imprecation among your people, as Adonai causes your thigh to sag and your belly to distend. May this water that induces the spell enter your body, causing the belly to distend and the thigh to sag. And the woman shall say, Amen, Amen. The priest shall put these curses down in writing and rub it off into the water of bitterness. He is to make the woman drink the water of bitterness that induces the spell, so that the spell-inducing water, and there's an assumption that it actually works, may enter into her to bring on bitterness. Then the priest shall take from the woman's hand, the meal offering of jealousy, elevate the meal offering before Adonai, and present it on the altar. The priest shall scoop out of the meal offering a token part of it and turn it into smoke on the altar. Last, he shall make the woman drink the water. Once he has made her drink the water, if she has defiled herself by breaking faith with her husband, the spell-inducing water shall enter into her to bring on bitterness, so that her belly shall distend and her thigh shall sag, and the wife shall become a curse among her people. But if the woman has not defiled herself and is pure, she shall be unharmed and able to retain seed. This is a ritual in cases of jealousy, when a woman goes astray while living in her husband's household and defiles herself. Very interesting. It reminds me of the Salem witch trials and throwing a woman into the pond, and if she sinks, she was innocent, and she floated, she was guilty. So she messed up either way. But yes, sir. Why do you think she can say no? Why do you think that? Why do you think that?
Because she wants to stay married to her.
No, why do you think she has a choice?
Because she does have a choice.
Why do you think she has a choice?
Because a woman can divorce. She can leave her husband.
No, he can divorce her.
Exactly.
She can't divorce him. Once she has committed adultery.
But she doesn't have to go through it. She can say, I'm not doing it, and then he just divorces her.
I think she's punished for adultery then. Go ahead. That's right. You assume that a woman can get a divorce. It's only the man can get a divorce. And what is she going to do in that society married but separated. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but if her belly distends, she's proven guilty whether she's guilty or not. I don't know. Rebitson Schechter pointed out that that the wife is just a chattel. Yeah. Right. In traditional society, traditional Judaism, if you went into a room, if you were married, and you went into a room with someone who was not your husband and shut the door, it was presumed that you committed adultery. Well, that's tradition, yeah. Any other comments or questions? Tomorrow after Kiddush Luncheon, Cameron will be doing the Torah study. I hope y'all will join us then. And going forward every other week until Rabbi Bear's here, I'll be doing the Friday night service and be doing the Torah study. Shabbat Shalom. No, the reason, in fact, that I didn't do the service, it was originally Jeff Cohen, and he was going to do both. The reason I didn't do the service tonight was because I can't see. You know, going forward, it will be either Orit or Arlene, the rest until Rabbi Bear is, presumably after that. But neither was available tonight. I did want to say one more thing that was part of the speech when I talked about the weirdness of all the portions together. For me, as I read it, it struck me like the producers of the James Bond movie had taken all of the outtakes and stuck them together to make a new movie. This is what Naso seems like, just pieces of stuff. So that you'd be watching this and you'd be going from Sean Connery to David Niven to Roger Moore. Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher Koach. And yes, I am filling in tonight. Let us continue the service with the Baruch Hu on page 39a, I believe. Please rise. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim Bechachma Poteach She'arim B'tvuna Mishane Itim Umachlif et Hazmanim Umesader et HaKochavim B'mashmiroteihem Berakia Kirtzono Borei Yom V'Layla Golel Or Mipnei Choshech V'Choshech Mipnei Or Umavir Yom Umevi Layla Umavdil Ben Yom Uvein Layla Adonai Tzavaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamidim Lo Chaleinu Le'elam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Amari Varavim. Ahava, the page 40. Ahavat Olam Beit Israel Amecha V'Ta. Please be seated. Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachvenu v'kumenu nashiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam uvalayla v'ahavtach al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Please join me on page 41 for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. If you will hear and obey the mitzvot that I command you this day to love and serve Adonai your God with all your heart and all your soul, then I will grant the rain for your land in season, rain in autumn and rain in spring. You shall gather in your grain and wine and oil. I will provide grass in your fields for your cattle, and you shall eat and be satisfied. Take care lest your hearts be tempted and you stray and serve other gods and bow to them. Then Adonai's anger will flare up against you, and God will close up the sky so that there will be no rain, and the earth will not yield its produce. You will quickly disappear from the good land that Adonai is giving you. Therefore, impress these words of mine upon your heart and upon your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your hands and as a symbol above your eyes. Teach them to your children by speaking of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your home and on your gates. Then your days and the days of your children on the land that Adonai swore to your ancestors to give them will be as many as the days that the heaven are above the earth. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem v'asu lahem tzitzit al kanfei bigdeihem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf petil techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit v'ritem oto zechartem et kol mitzvot Adonai ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Please turn to page 44 for Mi Kamocha. Mi Kamocha Ba'elim Adonai Mi Kamocha Nedar B'Kodesh Nora Tehilot Osef Ele Malchutcha Ra'u Vanecha Bokeyam Lifnei Moshe Ze'eli Anu Ve'amru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed v'ne'emar ki fad Adonai et Yaakov u'go'alo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 45. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel. And save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. V'tzel kanfecha tastirenu ki el shomrenu matzilenu ata, ki el melech chanun v'rachum ata. U'shmor tzeitenu v'oenu l'chaim u'l'shalom ata v'yad olam, u'fros aleinu sukat shlomecha, baruch ata Adonai, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. Top of page 46 for Vishamru. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Please rise. La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam. Beinu vein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, Asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam. Uvayom hashvid shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam. Yikadal ve'yikadash shemei Rabbah Be'amad yivrachute ve'amlich malchute v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala ba'gala u'v'zman karib ve'imeru Amen Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'le'omei almayah Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha prehu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran me'alma v'imeru Amen. We have the silent Amida on page 47. page 53, please rise. Vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'kol tzvam, vayachal Elohim b'yom hashvi'i melachto asher asa, vayishbot b'yom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa, vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayikadesh oto, kivo Shabbat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Koneh Shamayim va'aretz. Please join me if you know it. Magen Avot Bidvora, Mechaye Meitim B'mamarom, Ha'el HaKadosh She'en Kamohu, Hameniach Le'amo B'yom Shabbat Kodsho, Kivam Ratza Lehaniach Lahem, Lefanav Navod B'rav Afachad, V'nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid, Mein HaBrachot. El HaOdahot, Adon HaShalom, Mekadesh HaShabbat, U'mevarech Shevi'i, Umeniach b'kedusha le'amedu shnei oneg, zecher lemase bereshit. Eloheinu v'lehei avotenu, top of page 54. Reitzei b'mnuchatenu, kadshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'ten chelkenu b'toratecha, sabenu metuvecha, v'samchenu b'yeshuatecha, v'taher libeinu le'avdecha ve'emet, V'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava uvratzon Shabbat kodshecha v'yanuchu v'Yisrael mekadesh shemecha Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Let's turn now to page 173 as we pray for healing to those that are not perfect in their health. I'm going to recite some names here. Our thoughts are with Alan Woghalter, Art Donaldson, Barbara Argo, Carson Moser, Charlie Pruitt, Daniela Valdez-Vasquez, Sophie Handler, Eileen Marin, Elna King, Gary Rosenthal, Joseph Godovin, Jill Testa, Carol Bloom Rumsey, Kimberly Lang, Lucy Jean Horowitz, Luke Morse, Maria Beck, Marion Braun, Mark Hermelin, Mary Young, Phil Zipkin-Day, Robin Keller, Rosario Vasquez, Sarah Ibarra, Sharon Abelo, Sharon Hermelin. We also extend a Misha Berach for healing to Aryeh ben Shmuel, Baila bat Sura, Batya Leah bat Esther, Bela bat Malka, Chaim Shmuel ben Leah Yocheved, Daniel ben Sarah, Esther bat Miriam, Fega Riva bat Basha, Feivel ben Avraham, Feivel ben Rachel, Fredel bat Moshe, Feivel Zelek ben Bela v'Chaim Beryl Halevi, Hadassah bat Reja Leah, Hinda bat Chava, Ilan Nesher ben Rivka, Leah bat Yehudit, Malka bat Zev, Masha bat Zissa Merel, Masha Liba bat Rosalind, Miriam Bina bat Avraham v'Sara, Mordechai ben Yehudit Chaya, Moshe ben Miriam, Nechama Sarah bat David, Nachama bat Yaakov, Peril bat Tama, Pinchas Velvel ben Leah, Rachel bat Devorah, Rachel bat Yehudit Chaya, Raphael ben Wolf, Rachel Henya bat Noah Vefega, Shaloma bat Yaakov, Sarah bat Rina, Shena Gittel bat Masha, Shindel bat Golda, Shimon ben Chana, Shlomit Chana bat Bela, Shoshana bat Pearl, Simcha Ber ben Chaya, Tova bat Sarah, Yaakov ben Avraham ve'Elka, Yaakov ben Shlomit Chana, Yechezkel ben Sarah, Yehudit Golda bat Elka, Yoel ben Yosef, Yosef ben Avraham ve'Sarah, Tzvi Miriam bat Abigail Batya. Does anybody have any names to add? And all of those that are in our heart. Let us sing on the top of 173 in the left hand. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Back to page 54. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, be'almadi vrachute be'amlich malchute, b'chayachona v'yomechona v'chay dechol Beit Yisrael, b'agalav v'zman kari v'imeru. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam u'le'ol me'almaya, yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramah v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemir kudeshav v'rechu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata tamiran me'alma v'imeru amel tikabel tzlahoton uvahoton dechol Yisrael kadam avuhon devishmaya v'imeru. Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim alinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Oseh shalom bimrumav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru amen.
No, you do it. I'll go with you.
Okay. Page 55 for the kids.
Except we ought to have at least one good singer. Mel, when you come up with this? Yeah. At least one good singer. Why don't you come too?
What are you trying to say?
The two best singers are coming up.
Ratzon Hidkaltonu, B'Kovro Maseberation, Kibuyo Tehilo, Migroi Kodesh, Sefer Tzia, Mitzrayim, Kivonu Lacharta, Yotzanu Kidashta, Tikol HaElolim, Shabbat Kodesh, Yahavo Uvraso, Ikaltanu, Baruch Atah Adonai, B'Kadesh HaShabbat.
Behind me. I should call both of you. Between Jack and I, we have half a voice.
Please turn to page 56 for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tegedu l'yotzer reishit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, velo samanu kimishmechat adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kamen, v'goralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim, u'modim, lifnei melech malchei amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shehu noteh shamayim ve'yosed haaretz, u'moshav yekaro b'shamayim ima'al, u'shchinatu zo, ve'gavhei meromin, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu efezulato, kakatuv b'torato, v'yadata yom v'hashivota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim imam, v'al haaretz, mitachat einod. And so, Adonai our God, we await you, that soon we may behold your strength revealed in full glory, sweeping away the abominations of the earth, obliterating idols, establishing in the world the sovereignty of the Almighty. All flesh will call out your name, even the wicked will turn toward you. Then all who live on earth will understand and know that to you alone every knee must bend, all allegiance be sworn. They will bow down and prostrate themselves before you, Adonai our God. Treasure your glorious name and accept the obligation of your sovereignty. May you soon rule over them forever and ever, for true dominion is yours, and you will rule in glory until the end of time. Kakatuv b'toratecha, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, v'nemar, v'haya Adonai, le'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, u'shemo echad. We pause again now for the mourner's Kaddish, and we recall this week Paul Bloom. I know I read these names, but I've been asked to read them again. Paul Bloom, Abraham Charlip, Vilwa Kale Clear, Marcin Cohen, Jake Cooper, Edward Elam, Ant Sid Kabudi, Martin Kessler, Don Kincaid, Israel Liska, James McInnes, Dina Morchauer, Sarah Morgan, Inda Penner, Bessie Pollock, Sarah Polloway, Clara Schifrin-Reich, Jacob Reback, Jaime Rybakowski, Robert Singer, Adela Solomon, David Unrot. Grant that the memories of those who have gone before us be a source of strength for me and for everyone of the house of Israel. May the souls of our departed find peace in your sheltering care, and may we all be blessed with peace, tranquility, and the fullness of life. Page 58 for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, be'amal divrach yirutei, ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'b'chaye dechol beit Israel, ba'agala u'vizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'le'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha berechu. Le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. We have some announcements. Please join us morning minions, weekdays at 7:30 and Sundays at 9 o'clock. Don't be late. Upcoming events, Sisterhood Rummage Sale. We will begin accepting items on Tuesday in the Gorinsky Family Social Hall from 9 a.m. to noon, or in the drop-off shed. Where is that drop-off shed? We don't know. In the back. Thank you, Phil. Thanks. Please donate gently worn clothing, household goods, sporting goods, kitchenware, small appliance, Judaica art and decorations, and any other things that are cluttering your house. Any designer items are appreciated for the boutique in honor of Marguerite Lehrer. For questions, please contact Karen Landis or Phil or Shelley Behrens. Sorry, Phil. Social Action Havurah, the Rain to Drain experience, coming up this Monday. I'm very excited about this. It's going to be cool. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please join the Social Action Havurah for a tour of the San Antonio Water Systems Production Facility, Water Recycling Center, and the Edwards Aquifer Recharge Cave, which is not open to the public normally. LaSaw's Field Education Programs Coordinator and our member, Heather Ginsberg. This is a full-day expedition and seats are limited, so please RSVP to the office. I don't know when you would do that because it's coming up on Monday, so if you haven't already done it, call Sunday. Okay. I'm freestyling here in case you couldn't tell. Okay. Cultural Havurah, the immersive Van Gogh exhibit. This is an amazing exhibit. Next Sunday, June 19th at 10 a.m. I've seen this. It's a really, really worthwhile thing. It's really cool. Please join the Cultural Havurah for a fun and interactive morning at the immersive Van Gogh exhibit. If you're interested or for more information, contact Esther Lasky-Mata or call the front office. IPRS registration, the Indoposner Religious School registration is now open. Early bird registration ends on June 19th. Socialize with other Jewish youth, enrich connections with Israel, develop new Hebrew language skills, participate in interactive prayer experiences, enjoy meaningful lessons through project-based learning, social action projects, B'nai Mitzvah prep, confirmation, and so much more. Please contact Jessica in the office or j.halfant at agudas-achim.org, or you can call Ricky. Book of Remembrance. We're now accepting submissions for our 5783 Book of Remembrance, used during Yizkor services on Yom Kippur, Shmini Atzeret, Pesach, and Shavuot. If you would like to participate in commemorating your loved ones, again, contact Jessica in the office or the main phone number of the shul, 210-479-0307. Let's turn now to Adon Olam, which is on page 211. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra Le'et Nasa B'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Le'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado yimloch nora, vehu haya, vehu hove, vehu yeh betifara, vehu echad ve'yein sheni, lehamshilo lehachbira, beli reshit, beli tachlit, velo haoz v'hamisra, hu eli v'chai goali, v'tzur chevli be'etzara, v'hu nisi umanosli, menakosi v'yom ekra, beyado afkid ruchi, beyeti shan v'yaira, ve'im ruchi gebiati, Adonai li v'lo ira. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you.
You did good. Yasher Koah.
You were great. Shabbat shalom. You want to shake my hand? Running away from me? No, can't run away. Oh yeah, the bro bump.
por eso voy a poner mi foto.